Coming up, giving hope during the holidays, the surprise visit that keeps children in positive spirits while in the hospital. Plus, granting wishes. The strength of a little boy in Denver hasn't gone unnoticed, where he'll be headed after his 4th open heart surgery. And sparking creative ideas. Nearly a month ago, 24/7 Wall Street named Peoria one of the most innovative cities in the country. How OSF is taking advantage of this opportunity. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Delon Dillard. We're starting what could be the busiest holiday travel season in history. AAA predicts a record nearly 113 million people will hit the road for Christmas and New Year. Analysts say expect heavy highway congestion with the worst traffic expected today. Trips could take up to 4 times longer than usual in the most congested cities. And while the holidays are filled with cheerful moments and smiles, for some, the season can bring on extra stressors that can lead to depression. Rosario Dominguez tells us what some experts saying you can do to keep your mind positive and battle the bad thoughts.
The holiday season can seem jolly and merry for many, but for others, it makes them feel sad, especially if they have lost someone recently or during this time.
If you've experienced losses during this time, what are you doing for yourself? Trying not to isolate, to get out with other people, donate your time, or go to public events. There's something for everyone to do during the holidays.
Others who may experience holiday blues or isolation are individuals in senior homes, but you can help them by paying them a visit.
You interact with these people, and these people are so glad to see someone. And a lot of these people, they don't have an avenue. They can't go like to a community event. They can't go and hey, I'm going to go volunteer. Some that are able need to do that.
Another thing that contributes to holiday blues is financial stress, which can be avoided by planning ahead.
Find a number, a dollar figure that's going to be reasonable, that you know that you can either plan ahead for, or maybe some of it is ahead of time, and then years in January, February, and March to use some of it. But when you find a number and you budget that number, stick to that number. Because when you don't, that's when things get out of control.
In Peoria, Rosario Dominguez, WMBD News.
Well, the saying goes, it's the most wonderful time of the year. But for families with loved ones in the hospital, the holiday season can be tough. That's why a surprise visit from the big guy himself made today extra special. Cody Sheaver joins us in the studio with details on how Santa is giving a lot of hope to kids before Christmas. Cody.
Delon, Santa Bill has been gathering donations and toys all year round for kids at the Children's Hospital of Illinois. And today was Delivery Day, a day he says is what his world is all about. With his helper elves and Mrs. Claus by his side, Santa Bill made a very special delivery for each boy and girl. Along with his visit, each patient was gifted plenty of toys from their wish list. For parents, the event was a special memory as they saw their children not as patients, but just as kids.
It's awesome. I mean, I wish there was a better word for it, but I really don't have one. It's just great to you forget about the IVs and the feeding pumps and the dressing changes and all that. And she just, like you said, she's just, well, 8. And she just gets to hang out with Santa and play with toys and be a kid. It's great.
Santa Bill says this is the 22nd year of the tradition, and he believes he and his friends raised about $25,000 worth of toys. Delon.
All right, Cody. Well, after 4 open heart surgeries by the age of 3, a child in Danvers will soon be on his way to Disney World. Manash Kungari joins us with how Jackson York's one and only wish was granted. Manash.
Well, yeah, back in 2015, just 3 weeks after his birth, Jackson York was admitted into the hospital with fever-like symptoms. His mother, Samantha, noticed he'd been coughing abnormally, breathing heavily, and sweating uncontrollably. And after a week of tests and scans, a cardiologist finally approached the York family and told Samantha that Jackson had been diagnosed with double inlet left ventricle and he needs 3 open heart surgeries.
I didn't hear anything. He talked for like a half an hour and I fell to the ground. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And he had surgery, his first surgery at 5 weeks old, 6 days later.
But instead of just 3 operations, Jackson ended up needing 4.
He had 1 surgery at 5 weeks old. He had another surgery at 10 months old. He had a revision of the second one at 15 months old. And then what was supposed to be his 3rd one, which was actually his 4th one, was when he was 3.
And as if things couldn't be any worse, the York family just received more bad news.
We thought everything was great, and now he has got an aortic valve that is severely leaky that he's going to either need repaired or replaced, and that'll be open heart surgery number 5.
But through it all, Samantha says she has been inspired by Jackson's attitude and happiness, which prompted her to apply to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I was like, sure, let's see what we can do, because he's been through so much. I want him to have like the best of anything that I can.
And the York family is looking forward to their getaway trip to Florida. But Samantha says she will always cherish her time with her son.
Any moment could be, my last with him, so we take lots of pictures. we do as much as we can. Yeah, it's hard to think about, because then I'll start sitting here crying, but life for him is just super precious. Here, baby, what's wrong?
And the York family will be headed to Disney World in Orlando, Florida in January. And Jackson didn't want to talk to me on camera, but he does say he's looking forward to it. In Danvers, I'm Minosh Kungwari.
Well, speaking of granting wishes, today is the largest single-day Red Cross blood drive in Illinois, and if you haven't donated, you still have time. WMBD's Yvonne Greer is live at the Paradise Hotel in East Peoria. Yvonne, have you gotten a chance to donate just yet?
Good evening, Delon. There are just under 2 hours left in the 14th annual American Red Cross 12 Hours of Giving blood drive. And in the amount of time it takes me to say 3, 2, 1, somebody somewhere in America is going to need a blood donation. And if that person happens to be here locally, guess what? It's a local volunteer who's going to help save their life, extend their life, or improve the quality of their life here in Central Illinois. Tony Baker is the man with the plan. He's been here since 5 a.m. You told us earlier, Tony, that it takes only about 10 or 15 minutes to get the blood drawn and get someone off to just recovery, if you will, having a nice snack and enjoying some music. What happens to the blood after it's collected here today?
Yeah, we actually take it back to our Peoria American Red Cross Blood Center, and the test tubes are sent down to one of our national testing facilities. Within 24 hours, we know that the blood is safe, and so we could begin processing, and it's ready for a patient in need.
So somebody coming out today, before you go home, that blood's going to be off to be taken care of and tested, and before you go back to work on Monday, it's ready to be used.
You got it. Yep. And we appreciate our teams making that fast processing for us for the patients in need, because just like you said in the intro, and possibly every 2 seconds, somebody in the United States needs a blood transfusion.
And this time of year, it's very important.
Exactly. The holiday season is so huge for us that we need people all throughout this Central Illinois to come out and to help support not only us, but the patients in need.
Well, thank you very much for your service. We appreciate it, and we hope you guys will come out. They'll be here till 7 o'clock tonight at the Paradise in East Peoria. Reporting live, I'm Yvonne Greer. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Yvonne. Well, new at 5, the McLean County Coroner has released the names of the final 2 victims involved in a fiery crash on I-39 near Hudson. Days after that September crash, 43-year-old Guy Favorite from Missouri was identified. Today, the final 2 victims were named 32-year-old Ladin Petrovic and 31-year-old Alexander Sokovsky of Brookfield. Right now, that crash is still under investigation. And a new push for innovation is taking root in downtown Peoria. OSF, in collaboration with ICC and other agencies, are developing an innovation hub. It will be housed in the currently empty ICC Thomas building. The hub will focus on solutions to help underserved populations. They'll also be focusing on advanced systems in food, farming, and transportation.
We see a future of automated systems for delivery, automated systems for discovery to understand the needs of a population, even a population that's at greater distance from a central Peoria location.
And as long as the funding is approved, OSF expects the hub to be open by mid to late 2020. Well, after completing training, Miller Park Zoo will become the first sensory-inclusive zoo in Illinois. Staff members certified were trained on how to recognize guests with sensory needs and how to handle sensory overload situations. Sensory bags will also be available to guests who may feel overwhelmed by the environment. Well, coming up, Christmas gifts under the tree for the animals at PCATS. Plus, the new training methods, the technology used for simulation to help company employees become prepared for a potentially dangerous situation.
It's been a dreary day in Central Illinois with intermittent rain showers and pockets of drizzle. Now, as temperatures drop tonight, could see some of this rain changing to snow.